Hi everyone. So my name is Nick and I'm founder of Revolut Global Money App. So we started Revolut about 20 months ago. Started as a very simple money account plus a card which allowed you to send and spend money at interbank rates. But later we expanded into more banking services. For those who don't know what Revolut is, we prepared a short video.
So what exactly is Revolut? Well, to start, I download the app from App Store or Google Play and register with my mobile number. Instantly, I can see my Revolut card details that I can use for online purchases, or I can order the card to be delivered to my home address, and I can access the new PIN number for my card as soon as it arrives. When I go abroad, I simply upload money to my Revolut account and pay everywhere with my Revolut card. It doesn't matter where I am, in Thailand, Brazil, or South Africa. For each transaction, my Revolut card looks at my available balance and converts it to the local currency automatically using the best possible rate. I can even exchange money I've already uploaded. It costs me nothing, and it means I never have to use an exchange bureau again. If family and friends need to send me emergency money, I receive it instantly, no matter where I am, and I can even transfer money to pay for my mortgage back home. I love living an international life, and Revolut is an important part of it.
We launched Revolut as a very simple card, which allowed you to exchange, send money, and then spend with zero FX fees and the best possible FX rates. As a short overview about our company, so we launched 20 months ago. We raised quite a lot of money. We have more than 100 employees across 3 offices. We've got around 700,000 customers, and we've got around 11,000 businesses who pre-registered for Revolut for Business accounts. And we've got huge traction, so users love us. For example, we reached 500,000 customers within 18 months without any marketing, so we don't spend on marketing at all. In terms of active users, we have 40,000 unique active daily users, and then about 200,000 unique active monthly users. Transactional volume has been huge as well. So for example, right now we're doing 3 million transactions every month, and overall we processed more than $3 billion so far. So that's just a snapshot from our website, just 10 seconds, showing you that we are doing 1 to 2 transactions every second across the globe. We're actually the fastest moving fintech company and team out there. So we've done a lot of things that no one done before, and we've done them really fast. For example, we're the first company who introduced next generation security for your card. So basically right now we look at your location, at your phone location plus at merchant address, and if there is a mismatch, we block transaction. So that allows actually to reduce issuing fraud to almost zero. You can also obviously block and unblock the card. You can switch on and off max stripe transactions, e-commerce, etc. With Revolut, you can have multiple cards. It's another very popular feature. So for example, I can have a spare card with myself, just in case I lose my primary card, or I can give spare cards to my friends. We're also the first company who introduced speedy delivery. So right now we can deliver cards anywhere in the world within 1 to 2 working days. I don't think any bank is doing it at the moment. We also released quite a cool categorization. So right now within the Revolut app you can see transaction analysis by countries, by merchants, and by categories. It's number 2 most popular feature in the app. You can also see transaction details. So you can see where you spent, you can look at the map of your transactions, and you can also see the stats for transaction. Request money is another very popular feature, and split bills. I think we are the first company who managed to create split bills functionality just within 3 taps. So right now it's very easy to split bills like with anyone. We're also the first company who introduced Rita. So Rita is a Revolut intelligent trouble assistant, and it's effectively chatbot, intelligent chatbot. So at the moment we are getting 3,000 to 4,000 customer requests every day, and Rita handles 27% of them. So it's about 800 to 900 chats a day. And the average rating is quite good, so it's 4.4 out of 5. So no bank or any other fintech company is doing it at the moment. We also introduced current accounts recently. So right now, any person who downloads Revolut app is able to set up a British bank account. And we are launching a Euro bank account this summer. Also, about 2 months ago, we released Credit. So Credit, the main value proposition for a user is 50% cheaper compared to your bank, basically because we are connected to peer-to-peer lending platform, which saves you a lot of money. And plus, this is the fastest credit in the world. So from application to actually using your money, it's only like 20 seconds. Recently, we released Premium Account. It's another very popular product. So basically, main value proposition, we give you the ability to exchange unlimited amount of money, 100,000 users, 1 million euros, or like 10 million euros, at same interbank spot rate, and you just pay a very small fixed subscription fee. Short video about it. We're also the first company who started doing promotional activity within the app, similar style as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So right now in the Revolut app you can see different promotions from different third parties. And the actual conversion rate is very good, so it's like about 3% on each of the promotions. And we always offer best possible products that we select for our customers. Another big part of our resources is actually spent on Revolut for Business. And right now, the big problem in the world is very obvious. So right now, almost any business is international. So even if you look at simple e-commerce website, it will be selling in Europe, in UK, in the US. So revenues will be in euros, pounds, and dollars. And then they will need to pay their suppliers in Chinese yuan. And right now, banks are offering just single currency accounts, and they rip off companies big time. For example, for me to pay $50,000 in invoice, bank will charge me 1.5% FX spread plus $30 SWIFT transfer. So overall, it's about $1,000 to send $50,000, which is ridiculous. So that's why we releasing now Revolut for Business, and it's designed specifically to tackle this problem, to provide people multi-currency bank accounts at price 100 times cheaper compared to banks. So let me show you the product itself. So that's our demo account. You can effectively have as many accounts as you want in multiple currencies. For example, you have one account for your US office, one account for European office, etc. So each account has its own unique IBAN. And obviously, like for UK, its own unique account and sort code. So then you can see all transactions happening on these accounts. And you can create physical cards for your employees. So for example, these are physical cards that we created for our employees. And you can effectively see where everyone is spending. You can also have settings for cards, so you can obviously block card. You can link card to different accounts. And you can also create virtual cards. So in our case, we use virtual cards for separate vendors. For example, we've got subscription for AWS, for Google accounts, and we use separate virtual cards for these subscriptions. So the idea here is like usual normal use case. You just have one physical bank card that you lose, which is connected to all your subscriptions, and then it's a big hassle to actually reconnect your vendors again. But the best part of this product is actually we created address book of all companies. So right now you can send money instantly and request money instantly from any companies who are on Revolut. So for example, this example of companies who are on Revolut at the moment, and you can send and request money from them instantly. So that's effectively a much better system compared to existing banking network. And you can obviously manage different settings for different users. So you can, for example, create a user who is a payment manager, a user who is admin, etc. And you can also create a list of your employees. So it's a very simple system, very powerful, and it saves you really a lot of money compared to your bank. And also the good part is that you can really open an account very quickly without going to any bank. So right now we have 11,000 businesses pre-registered for this product. So we have Virgin Atlantic, Emirates, Danone Leon. We are getting from 60 to 90 pre-registrations for businesses every day without any marketing or any sales force. Just to recap, we provide to companies multi-currency bank accounts instantly, corporate cards with interbank rates, international payments, including instant payments at best possible rates. And obviously, we always give companies real exchange rate. So all these we've done within 20 months. Like what I showed to you, it was all done within 20 months, and the reality is that we just started. We've got a lot of exciting new products in the pipeline. For example, we're launching travel insurance very soon, pay-as-you-go insurance. For example, when I land to Thailand, I will receive push-out notification, hey, do you want to insure yourself for just £1 a day? And then it will automatically switch off when I'm back into UK. Revolut International Wealth is another product that a lot of customers are asking for. So we would allow people to invest in stocks and bonds, properties, and deposit money in different countries, different currencies. We're also working on international SIM with no roaming costs. So another huge value proposition for customers. Because majority of our customers, they either expats or travelers. Having a SIM card which doesn't have roaming charges is a huge advantage for them. So, as you notice, we are doing a lot of things, but primarily there are two directions, personal accounts plus business accounts. And the reason why we're doing these two lines, because we want to tackle this big problem in the world. So right now, if anyone wants to travel, say, to US, and then book themselves a hotel or Airbnb room, then Airbnb or hotel is going to lose on transaction 6%. So 2.5% will come from interchange, 1.5% will come from different fees, 0.5% on FX charges, and then another 0.5% on chargebacks. So assuming you all have Revolut personal accounts and then Airbnb has Revolut for business account, then there can be a simple button, pay with Revolut, and pay with Revolut will be cheaper compared to MasterCard and Visa, and then transaction will go directly peer-to-peer from your Revolut personal account to Revolut business account. And then it will be generally a better world for everyone. So we are working on creating effectively a network between like companies and businesses and people, and allowing them to pay each other. So that's it on my side. Thank you very much.
Nikolay, thank you for such a great presentation. Let's sit.
Sure.
I personally really like Revolut and use it for my daily expenses, but as I realized, it's more for traveling abroad versus when I'm in my home country where there are euros. Am I a typical customer, or what is the typical customer that usually uses your company's card?
Sure. What we see there is like usual pattern. So people start using Revolut like as expats and travelers. So like seasonal usage, but then after using it 1 or 2 months, they converge to everyday spending. So at the moment, almost 1/3 of our customers, they're everyday users of Revolut. Before, when we started, it was seasonal.
And what about the age or sex or like countries?
Sure. So half of users coming from UK, and then another half from Europe. Our second largest country is France. Then we have Greece, Spain, Germany, Lithuania.
Where there'll be time, because I know usually younger people use Revolut. Will there be time where, for example, my grandma will have the app and will have the credit card as well?
Interesting question. Well, our product at the moment is targeting more like young professionals. We do have, some, well, not some, but quite a lot of older users. But generally, like, the way we design things and we produce things is more for younger audience.
And usually, fintech companies are seen like just some kind of teenagers who are doing some kind of startup. How do you find this presumption? And how do you compete with businesses, let's say banks, who are more than 100 years old?
Well, to be honest, I think when I look at our team at Revolut and then compare it with any other bank, right? So they're actually kids compared to us. The way they do things, the way they produce. We as a company move, like 100 times faster compared to any other old financial organization.
But how can people trust you and not be scared that you're going to go bankruptcy the other day? I know it's sort of like a presumption, but a lot of people still have it.
Yeah, usually the way it happens, obviously there is kind of, especially from older people, there is a bit of mistrust, but then the usual pattern, they load a bit of money to their account, they start using it, and then they get used to it, and then, load more and more.
Okay, just like you mentioned before, you already have more than 500,000 clients. And on one hand, it doesn't look like a very big number, but on the other, it's 1/8 of all SEB Bank's individual customers. So you're basically stepping on big bank toes, and we can both agree that these big companies will not give away the market very easily, especially when they have the power to influence the government. Have you ever felt any kind of pressure from these big banks?
Well, pressure can be different. So right now, to give you an example, we're opening 2,000 new bank accounts every day, and that's more than any large bank in the UK. Obviously, when we started, no one effectively noticed us, but then with our current volumes and visibility, so obviously we get like a lot of requests from banks, but we still don't feel competition on their side.
A couple of years ago, well, maybe even 5 years ago, I don't remember exact date, Facebook wanted to buy Snapchat, and their CEO, Evan, rejected the offer, so they just decided to copy everything to Instagram. What would you do if you get a phone call from some kind of big bank pressuring to sell or else?
I mean, to be honest, we are not a sellers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what would you do if some kind of bank would basically start copying everything you're doing? Would you feel threatened?
Well, I mean, they're already trying to create new things based on our product, but the big problem is their speed is just non-existent, right? So by the time they create, one feature or copy, one feature that we done, we already released, 10 more features, which are even, more attractive for customers.
And how do you compete with big other startup unicorns like TransferWise, who already established some of the features that you have as well, like bank transfers and like banking sort of way?
Well, first, our huge advantage is very difficult to build what we build, especially multi-currency piece, because you need to connect like a lot of pieces together. So we effectively operate right now like a big commercial bank. We've got risk market making book for FX. We've got hedging of currencies. We've got like different systems managing different things. So it's very difficult to build it all together, and it's also very difficult to find a person who knows how to fit all these things together. So that's our big advantage compared to TransferWise or any other startups. And number two advantage is the speed that we are kind of executing things.
And as you mentioned before in your presentation, you haven't done basically any marketing. What is your future plans about marketing? Will you plan to do some kind of aggressive campaign just to get more customers from your competitors like banks or TransferWise?
Yeah, we'll definitely probably start doing marketing later next year. It's just at the moment it was never a priority. We're always happy with the growth. So for us, priority was always the product. Modifying, improving the product, releasing things that people want. But obviously, like at some point, there will be like certain saturation stage that when we release the majority of things we want to release, then we'll definitely concentrate our efforts on marketing.
And the next very important topic that I would like to touch is security. With threats like WannaCry attacking government institutions or hospital, people become more cautious with who they share their private information. How can you assure everyone here in the audience that that will not happen to their own account?
Sure. So we got every 3 months security tests by independent security companies who effectively do penetration of our systems. And then based on these penetrations, they provide their recommendations for security. And we are doing it regularly every 3 months. So yeah, that's how we are protected against cyber crime.
And do you educate your own employees about, let's say, phishing or some kind of other threats that could, let's say, penetrate your own system from their home computers, from the Wi-Fi as well?
So you mean if we protect employees?
Educate your own employees that threats can come through their personal Wi-Fi, personal computer when they browse at home.
Yeah, definitely. We effectively have onboarding procedures for every employee. Part of onboarding is actually how to protect their laptops.
At the moment, we basically live in a world where everything becomes contactless. So theoretically, the next step in the chain is biometric payments, starting from the finger scans and ending to basically having a microchip in your hand. What is your take on that?
Well, my take, a lot of things change now, and a lot of things change very quickly. So our philosophy is that organizations that are not fast enough, they'll be effectively, they will die, just because, last 3-4 years, the things that change in financial industry, and the speed of changes are huge. And also now in the world there is a huge unique opportunity when you as an organization can open bank accounts without having branches through mobile phone. And the whole concept of mobile phone, it just allows to do distribution for billions of people, without any marketing. So that's a perfect day X for existing financial organizations.
Do you plan to have any kind of biometric payments or something where, for example, have a microchip?
Yeah, maybe potentially.
Do you see a market for it?
Well, I haven't seen products so far which was sleek enough, but maybe they'll be in the future. So if we'll see, then we'll probably implement as well.
Okay. What about, for example, alternative currencies like bitcoins and all the alternative coins? Because I know you have a lot of fiat currencies in your app. What about alternative?
So it's in our product line as well. So we will release cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum quite soon.
How that will work out? Will you be able to pay and trade?
Yes, similar as fiat currency. So you'll be able to exchange money to Bitcoin and then send Bitcoin or spend with a card or just hold for speculative purposes.
Okay. And as you mentioned before, you're also a trader as a background. Do you plan to have any kind of Forex FX trading for people or on their behalf in your app?
Yeah, potentially.
Can you elaborate more?
Well, definitely there is a big interest from our customers to have trading as well, and we do look at it, how to get it done, and there is actually a special project for it in the pipeline.
Will people be able to trade themselves, or someone, let's say in your team, professional trader, will trade on their behalf?
Well, obviously there will be interface in the app where you can buy and sell stocks instantly. So whether they trade themselves or we trade on their behalf, I mean, just a question of licenses.
Okay. And right now, most of fintech companies are trying to simplify already existing bank services. Do you think that the wheel is already invented, or are we still in a process of making it? In other words, how do you see all banking and fintech industry in, let's say, 10 or 20 years?
Well, I definitely see that. I definitely think that see a lot of things happening. Not even in the next 10 years, but in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I think there will be 1 or 2 big players in the world, most likely startups, which would take a huge pie share from banks.
And what about 10, 20? Will we have some kind of big, groundbreaking innovations, revolutions? Let's just imagine things. How you imagine your day 10 years from now? You wake up, you go to buy your coffee. How do you pay for things?
Well, I think ideal solution will be if you don't need a new device and if you don't need to do anything to pay, right? So effectively, I walk into the shop. So right now I pay with a card or with a phone, but obviously it's much less sleek if I just go to the shop, take a cup of coffee and then leave, right? So I think in the future there will be just some software with face recognition set up in the shops, which look at your face, recognize you, and then subtract money from your account. As simple as that.
And how do you see Revolut's part taking in this big revolution?
Yeah, we'll probably kind of look at it as well when timing is right.
And what would you recommend for everyone here in the audience who are kind of interested in fintech, or maybe even doing their own startup? What is the next big trend, the next big wave they should just keep an eye on?
Well, I definitely think personally that the next big thing is fintech. So before it was social networks, even before there was a search engine, then taxi, food. So right now I think the time came for fintech and for banks to be disrupted. So my advice would be to ride the wave.
Good, but what exactly in fintech? Is it like some kind of new complex artificial intelligence algorithms, or it is just like you're doing to simplifying the existing things? Where should someone, if let's say for example I would want to start my fintech company, where should I look at?
Well, to be honest, I personally have a lot of ideas which could be implemented in fintech. So if I wouldn't be doing Revolut, I would be doing them. For example, one obvious idea is wealth management. So right now, no one is doing wealth management properly. So if you look across the globe, you will not have an app which allow you to invest money in different asset classes. Yes, you have, for example, Nutmeg in the UK or Wealthfront in the US, which would allow you to put money in, effectively in automatically managed stocks and bonds. But that's not enough. They're just 2 asset classes, right? And there are tons of more. So there are properties, deposits, etc., etc. So no one is doing it at the moment. And the idea is that you just create a very simple app, right, where a person can select different asset classes, can see instantly average historical returns plus volatility of the asset, and then put very, very small money in each of the assets, and then see aggregated results. So that's one of the ideas, for example.
So here you are, one more business idea, and we have 1 minute left. Will we have any question from the audience? If someone wants to ask something and maybe pursue this business idea. Everyone is, yes.
You said that you can issue credit
I'll repeat the question. Basically, the gentleman in front asked, how do they verify a person if they're giving a credit basically instantly, right? How do you evaluate the client's ability to give back the credit?
Yeah, so there is obviously like, different credit models, right, that everyone is using. So as soon as you got like, so model is effectively using several parameters of a customer. As soon as you pass these parameters about the customer to the model, then you've got a decision, okay, you give credit, you don't give credit, right, and it's all automated.
Great. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, the audience. Thank you.